Welcome to this video on Year 8 Standard Index Form from the White Rose Maths worksheets. White Rose are a really good resource website for your GCSEs, okay, and even primary school maths and Key Stage 3 maths. So I would advise checking them out. And I think they may have things for A-level maths potentially as well, okay. We're going to start with question number 1. Fill in the boxes to complete the statement. 10 to the power of something equals 10 times 10. So 10 times 10 is written as 10 squared, or 10 to the power of 2. Okay. 10 squared. Okay, so it should be a 2 there. 10 to the 4 equals 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, so that 4 there means that 10 is being multiplied by itself 4 times. Second question, 10 squared times 10 to the 4. Well, when I have the same base, I can just add the powers. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, so I can add what we call the exponents together. Next one, 10 cubed times something is 10 to the 9. Well, again, same base. Let's call this x, let's say. Okay, I'll have 3 plus x has to equal 9. Okay, by the definition from the rules of indices. Okay, subtracting 3 from both sides, I get that x is equal to positive 6. Okay, so 10 cubed times 10 to the 6 is equal to 10 to the 9. Now you might have recognised that straight away, which is fine, but it's for those of you that are wanting like a algebraic way of working out the answer. So when I add the powers, 3 plus 6 equals 9. This is question number 2. Write as ordinary numbers 3 times 10 to the 5. So it's 3 and then it's followed by 5 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the number is pronounced 300,000. The next one, 2 times 10 to the 4. Well, that minus means that it becomes a decimal. Okay, so it's going to be 0.0002. Okay, so a little way to know here, that power of 4 means that I need to have 4 zeros in total for my decimal place. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so when I count backwards. Okay, next one, 6.1 times 10 to the minus 3. Well, again, it's going to be 0.0061. Okay, because again, it's got the minus 3 there, so it's going to be a decimal. Okay, and again, I've got 3 zeros in total to help us check my answer. Okay, this is question number 3. Complete the statements using greater than, less than, or equal to 4 times 10 to the 4.8 times 10 to the 4 and 8.4 times 10 to the 3. Well, I know that they are not going to be equal because I've got 84 here. So that's going to be 84. So 8,400. That's going to be 4,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 48,000 is greater than 8,400. Okay, looking at our place values. The next one, 8.4 times 10 to the 2 and 8.4 times 10 to the 3. Well, I know straight away that it's the same number, but the power here is smaller. This minus 3 is smaller than minus 2. So this is going to be greater than, okay? So I don't even have to work it out. I know that 10 to the minus 2 is bigger than 10 to the minus 3. Okay. This is question number 4, guys. Work out the calculations giving your answers as ordinary numbers. Well, 2 times 8 times 10 to the 4. Well, 2 times 8 is 16 times 10 to the 4. So it's 16 times 10 to the 4. So it's 16. And then 4 zeros. Okay, the next one, 8 times 10 to the 4 divided by 2. Well, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I've got 4 times 10 to the 4. Okay, so when I'm multiplying or dividing, what I'm doing essentially is just dealing with like the numbers together and the powers separately. So 4 times 10 to the 4 is going to be 4 and then 4 zeros that follow that number. Okay, so it's 40,000. The next one, 2 plus 8 times 10 to the 4. Now, I've got to use big maths here, so I've got to be a bit more careful because it's not in brackets. So I'll work out what this is and then I'll add 2 to it. So it's 2 plus, I believe it's 80,000. Okay, so it's 8 and then 4 zeros. Okay, so it's 80,000. Add 2, I get 80,000. And 2. Okay, remember that you have to use big maths if something's not written in a bracket. Okay, and also use big maths for brackets as well. The next one, 2 plus 8 times 10 to the 4. Well, 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 times 10 to the 4 is actually equal to 10 to the 5 when I add my exponents together. Okay, so it's going to be 10 and then 5 zeros. So this 0 is not actually part of it. So it's 10 and then 5 zeros. If it helps, feel free to put in a comma, although it might not make perfect sense. Okay, and then I can just take the comma out if I'm not sure. So it looks like it's 10 million. Okay, so if I put a well, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, it's 1 million. Sorry, and not 10 million. So a million is 6 zeros, guys. Okay, this is question number 5. Jack calculates 3 times 10 squared plus 2 times 10 cubed equals 5 times 10 to the 5. Explain Jack's mistake and write the answer, correct answer in standard index form. Well, Jack has done 3 plus 2, so when I add, I can't combine the numbers together. I've got to work it out as 2 separate sums. So Jack has done 3 plus 2, which is 5, which is actually, it's correct, but it's not correct in this context. I've got to work out each of these separately and then add my answer because the powers are different, therefore the place values will be different. And then Jack's done 10 squared times 10 cubed, which is 10 to the 5, but I can't quite do that when I'm actually adding, so I'm going to work it out separately. So 3 times 10 squared is 3 and then 2 zeros, and then I'm going to have add 2,000, okay, because 2 times 10 cubed is 2 and then 3 zeros. Okay, we can see straight away that the answer doesn't end in a 5 when I add it together. 0 add 0 is 0, 0 add 0 is 0, 3 add 0 is 3, and then 2 add nothing is 2. Okay, so it should be a 2 there. Sorry if it's not very clear. So it should be a 2 there. There we go. Let's just delete that as well. Okay, so that's going to be a 2 there. Okay, now putting this in standard form, so it's a number between 1 and 10, so it's going to be 2.3 times 10. Well, if I go 1, 2, 3, so it's going to be 10 cubed, okay? And if you're not quite sure about this, then feel free to check this on your calculator to confirm that you are happy with that. So standard form is a number between 1 and 10 times 10 to the power of something. If it's a large number, then it's a positive power. If it's a decimal, then it's a negative power of 10. This is question number 6. Show that 2 times 10 squared times 3 times 10 to the 5 equals 3.5 times 10 to the 7 plus 2.5 times 10 to the 7. Okay, so let's just work with the left hand side first. So I've got 2 times 3, that's going to be 6. So when I'm timesing, I can combine it. So 6 times 10 to the 2 plus 5, which is 7. So I'm going to have 6 times 10 to the 7. So let's just put that here so we know what the right hand side needs to equal to. Okay. Now, the right hand side actually here, it's a bit slightly more easier because it's the same powers of 10. So here I can just add the numbers. So 3.5 and 2.5. Well, if we're not sure, we can just do column addition. Okay, so this can only happen, I can only add the numbers if the powers are the same. The reason why I couldn't add them here because the powers weren't the same. If that was a squared there or that was a cubed, okay, then I could have actually added the numbers, but I can't add them if it's like a different power. So just to explain that, okay, a bit further, 5 and 5 is 10, 0 carry the 1, 3 and 2 is 5, add the 1 is 6, okay, so that part's going to be 6, and it's 6 times 10 to the 7, okay, because obviously I'm timesing it, so the 10 to the 7 still stays fixed. I don't add the exponents together because I'm not timesing the powers of 10 actually, okay, so in this case I'm adding them, okay, because I'm looking at the central one. Here I added the powers because I was timesing it overall. 2 times 3 is 6, 10 squared times 10 to the 5 is 10 to the 7. However, 10 to the 7 add 10 to the 7 is not 10 to the 14, okay, or it's not 100 to the 7, okay, it just stays fixed, okay, if it's a plus there. Okay, this is question number 7. In a search engine, 40,000 searches are done every minute. How many searches are done in 1 hour? Okay, so an hour has 60 minutes. Okay. So I need to multiply that figure by 60. Okay, so 40,000 times 60. Well, 4 times 6 is 24. Okay, and then add on the zeros after. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to have 5 zeros. Okay. And then putting this in standard form, well, it's going to be 2.4 times 10 to the power of a positive number. Let's just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put the point there. So it's going to be power of 6. And I can just remove that little dot there once I've worked out my answer. Okay, so that's my answer in standard form. 2.4 times 10 to the 6. Okay, and it is a 2 there, guys. Sorry if it's not very clear. Oops. This is question number 8, and it says H because it's for higher tier students. So it's for students that are trying to push themselves for the higher tier GCSE. Put these cards in ascending order. Ascending means smallest to biggest. Okay, let's work out each one separately. So 8 to the minus 2 means 1 over 8 squared. So the minus is the reciprocal. So 1 over 8 squared, which is 1 over 64. Okay. The next one, minus 8 squared. Now this one's not been put in the brackets, guys, so I'm going to have to put that as minus 64 because I'm being very clear here, and I'll come back in a second and explain why I've put a minus there and not a plus. 8 to the third is equal to 2, okay, because it's the cube root of 8, which is equal to 2. 8 to the minus third is 1 over the cube root of 8, which is 2, okay, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Now come back to this part. Minus 8 squared is minus 8 times minus 8, which should be positive 64. However, if you enter this in your calculator as it stands, it will give you minus 64, which is why it needs to be explicit. If it's doing minus 8 squared, it needs to put it in a bracket. So that's why I'm interpreting it and I'm taking it as negative 64, because it should be in brackets if I was to square it. If you enter it just like that in your calculator, it is 100% going to give you minus 64. So I'm taking it as if I'm entering it in a calculator. Okay, so minus 8 to the 2 goes there. Then it's going to be 8 to the minus 2. Then it's going to be 8 to the minus third. and then lastly it's going to be 8 to the third. Okay, so I know I'm being a bit nitpicky about this one. Some of you might argue in the comment section and say, well, that should actually give me positive 64. You are right, but on a technical note, actually, if I was to enter all these into a calculator, that would give me the answer of negative 64. So I need to take it as if I was trying to enter these all into a calculator. Okay, any scientific calculator, it would give me that answer. Okay. Right guys, so that is the end of today's video. So I sincerely hope that you found it useful. I hope you found it informative. If you did, please press like, please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and lastly, please click that bell icon so you don't miss out on further uploads and further videos. Okay, but that's it for me today guys. Thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.